The sun comes up, the light turns on, and the natural world erupts into a new day. Animals wake in burrows, colonies, and branches to sing the sun's praises and launch into their daily chores. From India to Sri Lanka, they must make the most of every hour of sunlight to find food, find a mate, raise their families, and survive the dry season. All the daily dramas of their lives unfold in the hours from dawn to dusk. "5:50 a.m. and dawn breaks on Mother's Day in Sri Lanka. Sunrise triggers a personnel change as the night crew clocks off. And the day shift takes over. Many get straight down to business, but not all. Beside a waterhole, a deadly predator starts her day sunbathing. A mugger crocodile. This big girl can't make a move until she's soaked up some sun. Cold-blooded, she needs the extra warmth to get into gear. And she's not the only one. When she reaches her ideal operating temperature, it's time to satisfy her appetite. She's a mother-to-be. In a few weeks, she'll be laying eggs. Normally, she can get by on one meal a week or less. But breeding will require extra energy. She's determined to eat today. But the hungry mugger doesn't go out to hunt. Instead, she waits for delivery. Right on cue, a herd of spotted deer venture towards the waterhole. But they're a bundle of nerves. Because a cool drink here could come at a high price. This is the only oasis for kilometers, so all she needs to do is bide her time. From Sri Lanka to India, the day has only just begun for some of Asia's deadliest mothers. But on the Indian mainland, it's a would-be father who's causing a ruckus. 7 a.m. and the King of Beasts declares his dominion over his territory and everything in it. His roar can be heard up to 8 kilometers away. A cousin of the African lion, he belongs to a small population of Asiatic lions in India's Gir forest. The last of a group that once ranged across Asia. In order to sire the next generation, this lion has joined forces with his brother to conquer and rule a kingdom that stretches over 150 square kilometers. This morning, the pair are patrolling for rival males and re-establishing their status. There's good reason to be extra vigilant today. A lioness. She'll soon come into heat, which will attract other males. And the last thing the brothers want is more competition. While the kings of this locale have already found a mate, elsewhere, another male must fight to win one of his own. 160 kilometers northeast, the battleground is set for the Indian antelope, the black buck. It's the end of the main summer breeding season, and eager males are gathered in an open area of scrubland, where they've come to strut their stuff, and the ladies to select a mate. This is known as lekking. It's this young buck's first time joining the mating scene. There are still plenty of available bachelorettes, but winning one won't be easy. He claims a patch at the edge of the clearing, antelope style. But the would-be mums only have eyes for the strongest bucks with territory in the middle of the leg. If he wants their attention, he needs to upgrade. But he's not ready to challenge for center stage just yet. There's a much safer bet next door. His neighbor's a newbie too, but his property's slightly closer to the middle. It's only a battle for the bronze, but it's a good place for a young buck to start. The pair size each other up. If he's having second thoughts, now would be the time to back down. Not a chance. They start by testing each other's strength with low-power blows. They're evenly matched, so they escalate the battle. The ladies watch on. One misstep could result in injury or even death. The young buck drives his opponent into an older male's territory. A rookie mistake. Trespassing isn't tolerated on the leg. The big veteran tells them both to get lost. So much for the young buck's first battle. Right now, his chances of finding a mate are looking pretty slim. Time to return to his patch at the edge of the clearing to plan his next move. Mating's at the bottom of the list for one of India's most powerful predators. she's already got plenty to deal with. The Bengal tigress lives in the Waterhole National Park with her 3 daughters. While it may be Mother's Day, this is likely to be the only quiet moment this single mum will get today. She's got work to do. Her girls are 9 months old. They're weaned and have gone full carnivore. But they still aren't able to hunt themselves yet. On her own, the tigress would normally make a kill about once a week. But with the extra mouths to feed, she needs to catch at least 50% more food. Her girls are old enough to join her hunting expeditions, but not to be of any help. They need to learn how to stalk, attack, and kill prey. But it's been nearly 2 weeks since their last meal, and hunger is no game. Back in Sri Lanka, the hungry mugger is still trying to catch her weekly meal. And is coming up short. As the day grows hotter, more animals arrive. It's May, the start of the dry season. Small waterholes are drying up. And the mugger's home is becoming one of the last reliable places to get water. Some come to quench their thirst. Others to cool down. Good news for the crocs. It means there's a wider choice on today's menu. This wild boar's forgotten to keep an eye on the water while foraging. But this porker's faster than he looks. The hungry mugger just can't seem to catch a break. 10 a.m. And for one much smaller reptile, the hunt has just begun. Only a week old, this spectacled cobra is ravenous. So far, she's been sustained by a special yolk sac in her stomach. But that free lunch has ended. Now she has to find her first meal on her own. Luckily, she was born with everything she needs to get the job done. She tastes the air with her tongue, searching for prey nearby. A dwarf toad would be an easy catch. It doesn't even hop that well. Its short legs are for walking. But the little snake has to find it first. She can taste it in the air. But with its camouflage, it's hard to spot. As long as it keeps still and blends in. The little cobra knows it's near but can't quite get a fix. If the toad can just hold still, she might move on. But it loses its nerve at the worst possible moment. She pumps her victim full of venom, and paralysis sets in, allowing her to enjoy her first real meal in peace. Belly full, she won't need to eat for at least a couple of days. For the little cobra, killing's instinctive. But for these youngsters, it's a skill they'll have to master with practice. It's time for a hunting lesson before the day gets too hot. All three sisters follow their mother into the classroom. Today's lesson, Stealth 101. There's plenty of cover here, ideal for sneaking up on prey. Any one of these deer would provide a bounty for her daughters. But catching one will be a challenge. Being a choice dish has made these deer extra paranoid. The tigress must get within 9 meters without being seen before she can strike. Slow and silent. Her girls watch and take note. But there's always one student who gets distracted. Her cubs blown her cover. And costs the whole family breakfast. Hunting with her daughters in tow isn't working. She's going to have to do this on her own. In the rocky landscape of Daroji, one nocturnal creature is keeping unusual hours. This sloth bear would rather be active at night. But like the tigress, she has to make the most of the day because she has hungry mouths to feed. Twins. And for this family, breakfast is safer served in the daylight. Her shift in routine reduces the risk of running into nighttime predators, like leopards. This morning, Mum is giving the twins a lesson in foraging skills. During the dry season, their menu is limited to ants and termites. The twins watch and learn how to find their tiny prey. But termites can be a real challenge living at least a meter below ground. So Mum must demonstrate how to access their rock-hard nests using her 8-centimeter long claws. She doesn't have any front teeth, which helps her to vacuum up the bugs. At 8 months old, the twins aren't strong enough to dig or turn over rocks for themselves. So they still rely on Mum for that bit. Preparing their meals isn't the only service she provides. Like mothers the world over, she's also a taxi service. Just below India, the island of Sri Lanka is a land of two moods. In May, the east side, like much of the Indian subcontinent, is bone dry. But to the southwest, it's hot and wet. The perfect conditions for life to run riot. Sri Lanka's southwest is home to one of the most endangered primates in the world, the purple-faced langur. This alpha male, his harem of females, and their offspring are relaxing this morning. Their main enemy, leopards, are nocturnal and spend the best part of the day sleeping. But that doesn't mean the family's safe from other threats. Climbing isn't easy without limbs, but a python muscles his way up. He pulls himself from branch to branch, higher into the canopy. Hunger is a strong motivator. And a baby monkey would make a perfect meal. The mother is oblivious to the approaching danger. But the forest has its own early warning system. A group of purple-rumped sunbirds sound the alarm. They're only protecting their nests, but it's enough to tip off Mother Monkey. So much for his brunch plans. For a much smaller creature, shelter is this morning's main priority. These are weaver ants. And this construction is their nest. Just one of many in an empire which spans numerous trees. This army, hundreds of thousands strong, is busy this morning, building a new base of operations in some newly acquired territory. It's a task which requires true teamwork. Construction workers grip the leaves' edges, pulling them close and holding them in place. To bridge wider gaps, they form living chains. But they can't stay like this. They need a way to fix their structure in place. Their solution? Use their silk-spinning larvae like glue guns and stick the leaves together with their silk. The finished product. a true feat of engineering. Feeding an army takes a lot of provisions. So the weavers farm their own livestock. Tiny aphids. They secrete minute drops of a sugary substance called honeydew. The ants love it. But they don't get these sweet treats for nothing. In return, they offer protection from a long list of predators. With their sharp mandibles, the weavers are the perfect bodyguards. They even build protective silk tents around their charges and post sentinels outside for extra security. Most aphids seem content to stay within the corral. But when a lamb strays from the flock, the farmer gently brings it back. It's an unlikely alliance that pays dividends for both ants and aphids. Noon. In May, midday temperatures in Waterhole can rise above 40 degrees Celsius. After this morning's bungled hunt, the tigress leads her family to the pool to cool down. Unlike most cats, tigers are happy in water. Until they eat again, they should be conserving energy, but the girls just want to have fun. They don't realize the danger they're in. If the tigress doesn't make a kill soon, her family faces starvation. So, this time round, she leaves her girls behind. She knows where to find them on her return, hopefully with lunch. Some days she can walk up to 10 kilometers in search of prey. Lucky for her, she won't have to walk that far today. She launches her attack, accelerating up to 65 kilometers an hour. She targets a young deer. But she can't maintain her top speed for long enough. And she's left empty-handed yet again. Another failure this single mum can't afford. Further north in the Gir forest, hunting is the last thing on the brothers' minds. For days, they've been closely guarding this lioness waiting for her to come into heat. Finally, their patience is about to be rewarded, but only for the dominant brother, who will get to mate with her. She saunters past him with purpose. She's not a mother yet, but she's ready to try to become one. Initially, the act can seem quick, often lasting less than a minute. But this stud is just getting started. All he needs is a brief break. And he's ready for round 2. For lions, mating is an endurance event, because the chance of conceiving from a single act is 1 in 1,000. So, to increase the odds, the couple will do it every 20 minutes or so for up to a week. The next few days will be a true test of stamina. Regular timeouts will be essential. Because at 40 degrees in the shade, it's a really hot affair. In Sri Lanka's rainforests, it's the afternoon rush hour. While most animals go out of their way to avoid the weaver ants' sharp jaws and overwhelming numbers, one creature has infiltrated their ranks. A spy, cleverly disguised. This is no weaver ant. It's a jumping spider. Her front legs serve as false antennae, while black spots on the side of her head look like eyes. Her ant jaws are fake too. They're just her palps, which she uses to sense the world around her. She's got some real nerve imitating these deadly predators. But the illusion that she has an army for backup helps her keep other hunters at bay. Not everyone's fooled. There's one thing she can't fake: pheromones. Without the same chemical ID as the ants, they can smell straight through her ruse. Now she's on the ants' radar as potential prey. They start a high-stakes game of hide and seek. If the ant catches her, it will kill her. With nowhere to go, it's time for this imposter to act like a real spider. Just 50 kilometers to the south, in a forest of a different kind, the tables are about to be turned once again. Sri Lanka's coasts are lined with waterlogged mangroves. Weaver ants make their home here too, but these are dangerous waters. The mysterious mangrove sniper is a 7-spot archerfish. A deadly shot with a mouthful of water. He squeezes his gills to spit out a jet stream with enough force to knock his prey from its perch. A real sharpshooter, he's capable of hitting a moving target nearly 2 meters away. But for some, shooting requires too much work. There are easier ways of getting a meal should the opportunity present itself. They can steal someone else's. Or if it's within reach, just grab it. As the afternoon slowly begins to wind down, the tigress returns to her offspring. She's had an unsuccessful day of hunting, and she's failed to provide for her hungry family yet again. As she nears the place she left her young, she spies one last opportunity to bring home dinner. But there are hundreds of eyes here, ready to spot danger. From the langur monkeys with their vantage point, to the vigilant mother deer protecting their young. She stands little chance of catching a meal out in the open. So she remains under cover in the forest and waits. A male sambar deer heads into the woods alone. This could be the break she needs. Finally, a stroke of luck. The sambar is a significant kill, around 260 kilos of fresh meat. Her daughters hear the commotion and come to join her. This evening, the family will feast. The tigress can eat nearly 30 kilos of meat in one sitting alone. But it's her growing youngsters who need the protein most of all. The family will stay nearby and feed off the sambar for 3 to 4 days. They'll happily eat rotting meat rather than waste anything. With her daughters well fed, this mother can finally rest after a long, hard day. 5:30 p.m. At a nearby waterhole, a pack of dholes have surrounded some sambar deer of their own. They may look like man's best friend, but make no mistake, these wild dogs are natural-born killers, relying on teamwork to take down their prey. And they've got their sights set on the baby of the group. He'd be an easy meal if they could reach him. But not if Mum has anything to do with it. Dinner is so close, they can almost taste it. But the deer hold their position. In the water, they have a small advantage. It's too deep for the dholes to stage an attack. The sambar try to intimidate the wild dogs. But these hardened killers don't scare easily. And the mother deer goes too far, pursuing her enemy onto land. A mistake that could prove fatal. The dholes are still wary. A well-planted kick could cause serious damage. They herd her into the woods, away from the water and her baby. Surrounded and outnumbered, she's in real trouble. Her only chance is to make it back to the safety of the waterhole. The dholes have lost the upper hand. Unwilling to wait it out, the pack crosses venison off the menu and withdraws to find an easier meal. Today, standing tough has paid off for one mother deer. By late afternoon, the rut is in full swing at the lekking grounds. The midday heat has faded, and more females have gathered to watch the males' exhibition fights. After this morning's failure, the young buck needs to prove himself now more than ever. This time, he challenges an older male from the center. A risky move. But if he wins, the rewards will be worth it. The young buck on the left may not be as seasoned, but he's just as strong as his older rival. He's looking good. But experience gets the upper hand, as the older male on the right takes charge. Just like before, the duel's interrupted by another territorial buck. The seasoned rival takes advantage of the interference and drives the youngster off his turf. The older male's victory doesn't go unnoticed. Females begin to gather on his territory, while the first-timer can only watch as the veteran gets his girl. One day, it will be the young buck's turn, but not today. As evening approaches and the day cools down, the hungry mugger has one final shot at a meal. The herd of spotted deer has returned for a late afternoon drink. She's poised to strike. Today has not been her day. She hasn't caught anything, and her hunger is growing. She needs to eat soon, because she's going to need all her energy to mate and lay her eggs. Her timing must be perfect. One step too close, trapped in some of the strongest jaws in the animal kingdom. The doe fights for her life. But her struggling only attracts more crocodiles. The death roll. And it's over in seconds. More neighbors invite themselves to join. For these crocs, there's no chance of dining alone. In fact, they help each other to eat. Their teeth can't slice through flesh, and they can't chew either. So they brace against each other to rip off chunks of meat and swallow them whole. The hungry mugger scores herself a piece and leaves the table. Her turbocharged digestive system is already pumping acid into her stomach 10 times faster than any other animal. The feast is just enough to satisfy her appetite. For now. Within 15 minutes, all traces of the deer are gone. Now, to rest and digest, and wait to see what tomorrow will bring. As the sun sets, a bountiful Mother's Day comes to an end. For all the mums and their families who made it through the day, now all they need to do is survive the night. And come dawn, they'll do it all again.
Hey Love Nature fans, Be sure to like and subscribe to catch all our wild animal stories. Get closer to nature right here on YouTube.